Welcome back, Legends, to another episode review and breakdown for DC's Legends Tomorrow, Season 7. And can you believe that we're already 4 episodes into the season? I mean, we took a little bit of a break last week with the 100th episode of the season, which did still pertain to the main storyline technically because we were dealing with human Gideon and everything, but it really was almost like a bottle episode because it all took place on the Wave Rider, which I think was amazing. I love that episode so much. If you watch my video on it, you know how much I loved that episode. It was amazing, and I wish we got more episodes on the quality of that, but we're back to our main season storyline here for Season 7 here, back with Episode 4. And of course, the Legends get up to some more shenanigans in this episode, as always. But guys, before we get into talking about today's episode, of course, quick spoiler warning if you've not yet seen it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. So, the Legends are, of course, on their way to find Dr. Gwyn Davies, who's going to be played by Matt Ryan. But he's in New York, and they don't have, any money at all. I think they had maybe $30-something. So that's clearly not enough to buy a bunch of train tickets for all the Legends to go to New York and, find Dr. Gwyn Davies. So they gotta come up with another plan. And first of all, before they can really do anything, Sarah and Ava have to basically disguise themselves because they're now known as the Bullet Blondes. So they have to put on wigs and they basically become redheads. So that was pretty cool seeing them wear the wigs throughout the episode. But then they stumble into a speakeasy and they basically earn back their money through gambling and all that stuff. Or I think Bayrod was playing the piano, so he probably made some money off that. So they make back the money that they needed to get the train tickets to York. But unfortunately, but also fortunately at the same time, Zari was talking to the bartender, Eddie, and you could tell that there was some sparks flying there. Don't know if they're actually gonna become a thing in the future, because it seems like his storyline kind of ended off in this episode. But they got a little bit of a relationship going on here, so after he's attacked, Zari wants to help him out, so she throws this epic party fundraiser in John's Pocket Dimension Manor to basically raise money not only for Eddie to help him with his speakeasy, but also to get them back the money for the Legends train tickets. So in this episode, we really get to see Zari kind of take the focus because she basically becomes the leader of this mission. She just completely takes over. So I thought that was really cool getting to see that character in the spotlight, specifically Zari 2.0. But we also get some interaction between some other characters, like the interaction between Nate and Gary, where it's basically revealed that Gary has a crush on Zari, but also at the same time not, because it's almost like just the idea of her, because he basically has a crush on anyone who bosses him around, which, is a weird thing to be into, but at the same time, in real life, there are people that are into that. And Nate literally lists off a whole bunch of people that boss him around that Gary was into at one point or another, including Ava and John. And that it makes so much sense. It honestly does make a lot of sense. And I doubt Zari and Gary are gonna get together, but I am interested to see where this is going to go from here and who he is going to end up with, because we don't really know. We really have no idea. But of course, while they're doing this big fundraiser party, Robot Hoover is hunting the Legends. He actually ends up crashing the party. So Sarah and Ava actually perform as the Bullet Blondes, and during their performance, they actually end up tying up Hoover, or Robot Hoover. And I love this moment at the end when they kiss and everybody is just standing there watching in silence. And at first you think it's just because it's the 1920s, they're just super homophobic. But then Ava clarifies, we're not sisters, and then everybody starts cheering. That was just such a funny moment. Apparently they thought they were sisters, and that would be a weird thing for sisters to be doing, I gotta admit. But really funny moment. I really enjoyed that. But their mission is a success. They're able to make back a bunch. They're able to make back their money, and basically the day is saved, at least for this episode. But meanwhile in this episode, we also had, of course, the rest of our Legends, our other trio, with Spooner, Astra, and Gideon, who also are trying to make their way to Dr. Gwen Davies in New York, so they end up sneaking on a train and run into the Masquerades, which is basically this band or like musician group in the 1920s led by Maud, who is their lead singer, and it just so happens that she is married to the guy that owns this speakeasy that they're going to perform at. But the unfortunate thing is, Gideon does a little bit of a history checkup on this person, because of course she's a supercomputer, and she basically tells the other legends that, that guy ends up murdering her, so Astra kind of feels bad and says like, hey, we should save her, so Gideon actually goes undercover and goes in disguise as Maud, as the lead singer for this song, and actually sings, which of course is something we actually saw Gideon do in last week's episode as well. But basically they're able to save her. They save her life and actually scare away her husband, because Astra actually mentioned this in this episode that she actually met that guy in hell. So which just shows how bad of a guy he really is. But after that, when their storyline is kind of complete for this episode, one of the other Masquerades reveals to them that across town, the Bullet Blondes are putting on a performance. So, of course, Spooner, Astra, and Gideon know that that is Sarah and Ava, so they try their best to run across town and make their way to reunite with the other legends, but unfortunately, when they get there, all that's left is Zari's phone, so they know that, hey, they were here, but they're not there anymore, so they missed their chance. They were so close, but the legends are doing their own stuff at the same time, because, for example, you've got Gary, who actually has the key to John's Pocket Dimension Manor, and he is on his way to New York, and so meanwhile the other legends are inside the manor, so basically it's going to be like he goes to New York, and then he can just open a door, and then boom, all of the legends are in New York. Honestly, they should have just done that from the first place. I mean, they said they had enough money to buy one ticket. All they needed was one ticket and then just the keep. So, honestly, kind of a little bit of a plot hole right there. But now, Gary's probably going to be doing that. And he's going to be doing his own solo mission in the next episode. So, I'm excited to see that. But inside the manor, we have, of course, the rest of the legends talking to Robot Hoover, kind of trying to interrogate him. And Zari says that, I'm not an expert in robots, but I know who is. So then that's when she brings in Zari 1.0, which I thought was awesome because I love Zari 1.0. I like Zari 2.0, but I think I definitely like Zari 1.0 better just because, she's the original. And she was actually brought up a couple times in this episode when Gary and Nate were talking about Nate's relationship with Zari. So I'm just excited to see her back because we know they're together, but I want to see them together. And so hopefully we'll be getting that in next week's episode and possibly the remainder of the season. But anyways, guys, that was the episode. That was DC's London Tomorrow, Season 7, Episode 4. Another solid episode of the season. Excited to see where things go from here. But guys, let me know your thoughts on the episode down in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video. And hit the subscribe button so I keep up to date on everything goes on in the DC life.